So I was talking to someone recently, a business owner, does really beautiful custom work, good at what she does. And she told me about a situation with a client that honestly had me a little speechless. Not because it was dramatic, but because I've heard versions of this story so many times, and it always ends the same way. The client commissioned a custom cake, big order, multi-tier, the whole thing. And somewhere between the deposit and the delivery, the client added her, the business owner, to a family WhatsApp group. So now she's in this group with aunties, cousins, the whole extended circle, dropping design updates, answering questions from people who aren't even the client, getting voice notes at 11 p.m. asking if the flowers on tier 2 can be changed to a slightly different shade of pink. And she's doing it because she doesn't want to seem difficult, because the client is paying, because she doesn't know how to draw the line without it feeling rude. Now here's the thing, and I want you to really sit with this. None of that is actually the client's fault. I know that might sting a little, but stay with me. The client didn't come into this arrangement knowing what was and wasn't okay. Nobody told her. There was no document, no conversation, no clear point where the business owner said, "This is how I work, this is what you can expect from me, and this is how we communicate." So the client just did what felt natural to her. She got excited, she involved her family, she wanted updates. That's a normal human being planning something she cares about. The gap wasn't the client's behavior. The gap was the absence of a system that would have made that behavior impossible from the start. This is what I want to talk about today. Client onboarding. And before you switch off, because that sounds corporate and boring, I promise you it's not. It's actually one of the simplest things you can put in place that will completely change how your clients treat you and your business. So what is a client onboarding process? At its most basic, it's just a set of things that happen consistently every single time someone becomes your client, before the work starts. It could be a document, a short form, a voice note you send, a quick call, whatever works for your business. The format doesn't matter as much as the fact that it exists and you use it every time without exception. And what does it cover? A few things. How you communicate, meaning which platform, during which hours, and with whom. Because if you don't say this, clients will find you everywhere. WhatsApp, Instagram DMs, email, a tagged post, a comment on your last reel. I have heard all of these. You have to tell people where to reach you. Secondly, your revision or update policy. How many times can they change their mind? What's the process for requesting changes? What happens if changes come after a certain point? Third, timelines and what they mean. Not just your delivery date, but when they'll hear from you, how often, and what to do if they have a question in between. And fourth, what happens if things go sideways? Delays, changes in brief, anything unexpected. Having a clear answer to that before it happens saves you from scrambling later. Now let's talk about what this actually costs you when you don't have it. Because I think a lot of business owners feel like being flexible and available is part of good service. And it is to a point. But there's a version of available that starts eating your actual working time. When you're answering messages in a group chat with 12 people who aren't your client, you're spending time and energy that you're not being paid for. When you're redoing a design for the fourth time because the brief was never clearly locked, you are losing money on that job even if the invoice looks fine. When you're stressed at 11 p.m. about a voice note you feel like you have to respond to, that is a tax on your mental energy that is showing up somewhere, in your work, in your next client interaction, in how you feel about your business overall. And here's what nobody talks about. Clients who don't have structure given to them often become difficult, not because they're bad people, but because uncertainty makes people anxious. When someone doesn't know when they'll hear from you next, they'll contact you more. When they don't know what's included, they'll push to see where the edge is. A clear onboarding process doesn't just protect you, it actually makes the client feel more comfortable. It signals that you are a professional who has done this before and knows what they're doing. That alone raises how people perceive your brand. So what does the person in this situation do now? Because the onboarding ship has sailed on this particular client, you can't go back and redo it. What you can do is have a calm, brief conversation that resets things. Not defensive, not apologetic, just clear. Something like, going forward, all updates will come through here. I'll check in with you on these dates. And for changes, please send them this way. You're not making a big deal of it. You're just redirecting. Most clients respond fine to this when it's delivered with confidence and not like an apology. And then, the more important thing, you build the system so the next client never gets to that point. Sit down and write out your onboarding document. It doesn't have to be long. A page, maybe less. But it has to exist and you have to send it before the work starts every time. Because the version of your business where clients respect your time and your process isn't something that just happens naturally. You have to architect it. You have to decide what working with you looks like and then communicate that clearly before anyone signs anything. Your client experience is part of your brand, not just your packaging, not just your product, the whole thing, from the first message to the final delivery. And right now, if you don't have an onboarding process, that experience is being shaped by whoever your client happens to be, which means it's different every time, which means you can't improve it, you can't scale it, and you're starting from scratch with every single person. You deserve better than that. More importantly, your business deserves better than that. If this episode gave you something to think about, share it with a business owner who you know is in their feelings about a client right now. They probably need to hear this more than they need to hear you tell them it'll be fine.